Hey everyone, welcome back with another session of geography. I hope you all are doing well. So we'll continue the same chapter, that is physical features of India. Now we know the physical features of India can be grouped under the following physiographic divisions, and under this we have already completed the Himalayan mountains and the northern plains. So today our topic of discussion, that is the Peninsular Plateau. Now the Peninsular Plateau. Now we all know that the Peninsular Plateau is basically a tableland composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. Tableland, that means it's not like the Himalayas that have a sharp top. It's not like that. It's just like a table, flat at the top. Okay, so it's basically composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. So here crystalline rocks, that means any rocks that's composed entirely of crystallized minerals without glassy matter, you can call. So that's what is the meaning of crystalline. Okay, so all these rocks, it's over there. Now, if you see the formation of the Peninsular Plateau, guys, it was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land, and thus making it a part of the oldest landmass. Now, the Indo-Australian plate, it got hit with the Eurasian plate, and thus after that the Himalayas were formed, and slowly and steadily here, this Peninsular Plateau was also formed. Now basically this formation of Peninsular Plateau was mainly due to the volcanic activities which occurred during the plate movements. All these plate movements during that time, the volcanic activities that took place, that lava that came out, okay, because of that these Peninsular Plateaus were formed. Fine? Now, and it's one of the oldest landmass, right? That's around you can call 300 million years old, maybe more than that. Okay, that's the thing. Now if you see, the plateau has broad and shallow valleys and rounded hills, of course. Now this plateau basically consists of two broad divisions, namely the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau, and another one more, the smaller part, we can call it as the Ch.2 Plateau. Mainly these have two broad division, that is the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. As you can see the pictures here, you will understand it. Okay, now the part of the Peninsular Plateau lying to the north of the Narmada River, covering a major area of the Malwa Plateau, is known as the Central Highlands. Now if you can see, that is here the plateau, okay, that's lying north of the Narmada River, it's known as the Central Highland, and the south of the Narmada River we have it as the Deccan Plateau. Fine, it's cover a major area of the Malwa Plateau, and the Vindhya range is bounded by the Satpura range on the south and the Aravallis on the northwest, as you can see here. Okay, the further westward extension gradually merges with the sandy and rocky desert of Rajasthan. Fine, as you can see the map here, all the ranges. Okay, now if you see the flow of rivers, the different flow of rivers draining this region, namely the Chambal, Sindh, Betwa, Sun, all this cane is from the southwest to the northeast, thus indicating the slope. Okay, now the Central Highlands are wider in the west but narrower in the east, and the eastward extension of this plateau are locally known as the Bundelkhand and the Bhagelkhand, as you can see here, Bundelkhand and the Bhagelkhand. Now next up, the Chhota Plateau, that we have discussed. The Chhota Plateau marks the further eastward extension, and it's drained basically by the Damodar River. Now Damodar River, as you know, the Damodar River was known as the Sorrow of Bengal. Why? Because it used to flood many areas of Hooghly, Howrah, Bardhaman and Mednipur districts. So this Ch.2 Plateau is drained by the Damodar River. Okay, next up we have that's the Deccan Plateau. Now the Deccan Plateau, it's a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the Narmada River. Okay, now the Satpura range flanks its broad base in the north, while the Mahadev, Kaimur hills and the Maikal range form its eastern extensions. Okay, now the Deccan Plateau, it's higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards. An extension of the plateau is also visible in the northeastern sides and locally known as the Meghalaya, Karbi Anglong Plateau and North Chashire Hills. Okay, it's separated by a fault from the Ch.2 Plateau, and the three prominent hill ranges from the west to the east are the Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills. Okay, these are the things. Now next up we have that is the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. Now the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats mark the western and the eastern edges of the Deccan Plateau respectively. Now Western Ghats, they lie parallel to the western coast and they are continuous and can be crossed through passes on. Okay, now these Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats and their average elevation is around 900 to 1600 meters and as against 600 meters of the Eastern Ghats. Okay, now the Eastern Ghats stretch from the Mahanadi Valley to the Nilgiris in the south. And if you see guys, the Eastern Ghats are discontinuous and irregular and they are dissected by rivers draining into the Bay of Bengal. Dissected, that means divided, you can call it. Now, the Western Ghats cause orographic rain by facing the rain-bearing moist winds to rise along the western slopes of the Ghats. Now, what's the meaning of this orographic? Orographic, that's related to the mountains, specially associated with or induced by the presence of mountains orographic rain. Now, orographic rain, as you can see in the picture, what happens? The moist winds, okay, they come up, they keep flowing, and because of the altitude, it comes at the top and it gets saturated here, and because of that, precipitation takes place. So on one side, facing the side that's facing the rain-bearing moist winds, that side it rains continuously, but on the other side it's very dry. That's the orographic effect. The side where the rainfall takes place, that is called the windward side, and the opposite of it, other part, that is the rain shadow area, or it's known as the leeward side. Okay, now the Western Ghats, all these Western Ghats are known by different local names. Now in Maharashtra, Goa and Karnataka, it's known as Sahyadri. Now if you go to Karnataka near Mysore, Biligiri, Rangana, Beta, all these are the regional names or local names. In Tamil Nadu, it's known as Nilagiri Malai. And also in Kerala, it's also known as Annamalai Hills and Cardamom Hills. So these are the different local names of the Western Ghats. Fine. Now, if we see the height of the Western Ghats progressively increases from north to south. Okay. Now the highest peaks include the Annaimudi, it's around 2695 meters, and the Doda Beta, it's around 2637 meters. On the other side, Mahendragiri, that is around 1501 meters, is the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats. Okay, along with that, Shivroy Hills and the Javeri Hills, these are located to the southeast of the Eastern Ghats. Fine. Now, if you see, one of the distinct features of the Peninsular Plateau is the black soil area known as Deccan Trap. Now, what is this Deccan Trap? Now, this Deccan Trap, the name Deccan is derived from the Sanskrit word Dakshin, meaning south. Now, the west central parts of the Indian peninsula are dominated by flood basalts, which form a prominent terraced landscape. And this form of flood basalt is called trap, and it was named after the Dutch Swedish word trappa, that means stairs. Okay, so this Deccan Trap, this is of volcanic origin, and hence the rocks are igneous. Okay, and they are one of the largest volcanic features on earth, and they consist of multiple layers of solidified flood basalt that together are more than 2000 meter thick, and it covers an area of 5 lakh square kilometer. Okay, now actually these rocks have denuded over time, and they are responsible for the formation of black soil in these regions. Okay, and if we see the Aravalli Hills, one of the oldest mountain that we have. These Aravalli Hills, they lie on the western and northwestern margins of the Peninsular Plateau. And this way, these Aravallis are also highly eroded hills, and they are found as broken hills, as you can see in the picture here. And they extend from Gujarat to Delhi in a southwest northeast direction. Okay, so that's all we have in this session. I hope this session helped you a lot. In the next session, we will discuss about the other physical features of India. So until the next time, bye bye.